take another stroll downtown. Well, Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
This is me. Now I know what you're thinking. When did the child from Cherry Maguire learn how to dance so well? And to tell you the truth, I have no idea. But one thing I do know is that even at the tender age of 5, like I was here, I was already obsessed with football. Shockingly, it turns out when your dad is a football coach and you have an older brother who also plays, you don't really have much of a say in what your chosen sport is. Nevertheless, football has always been my main passion, and more importantly, Bristol Rovers. I've been following the Gas ever since my first game back in 2007, and they've been a constant throughout my life over the past 15 years. They've given me some of the best moments of my life, some of which I'll never forget, and also some of the worst moments of my life, because most of the time, they're dog shit. But I wouldn't have it any other way. As many other fans will know, the longer you are attached to a club, the more emotionally connected you are to them. And for me, that isn't always the best thing. I've always known that my behaviour tended to change when I was playing football. As you can probably tell by my voice, I'm an incredibly boring person. When you have the hairline of a middle-aged man at 21, and all you do is play Football Manager, you're living a fairly tragic life.
Oh, it's disallowed! Fuck!
But whenever I'd be on the pitch, even though I wasn't the worst player in the world, I'd become a lot more short-tempered and quite erratic. However, no matter how much I would lose my head, I always knew I could count on my dad to be supportive and calm me down in those situations.
Davis, down here, mate.
Did you get in that gym, Jack?
Nevertheless, I never really tried to get to the bottom of why I changed so much when I watched Rovers. So I thought I'd turn to the people closest to me to try and find out how much I really change when I'm on the terraces.
If you were to describe me in 3 words outside of football, what would those 3 words be?
I'd say
Boring. Reserved.
annoying,
Sarcastic.
sarcastic,
Sensible.
Building. Polite.
Fat.
And a little bit, oh no, that's not what, a little bit funny. Can I do that again?
And if you were to describe me in 3 words whilst watching Rovers, what would those 3 words be?
aggressive,
Passionate.
pessimistic,
I'd say dramatic.
Emotional.
Sweary.
What am I like during football?
loud,
Frustrated.
angry and stressed.
So when I came up with the idea for this documentary, it was mainly going to be centred around my behaviour changing due to the fact that we're shit all the time. But in a crazy turn of events, we've actually become quite good. We currently sit 6th in the League 2 table, having had the 2nd best record in the league since the turn of the year. So it's a bit of a different experience to the one I'm used to having supporting the Gas. I was lucky enough to go to the Northampton game, and to be fair, I'd say I remained fairly calm during that. Following that, I decided to bring my friend George along to our home game against Bradford City to try and capture how I really am when I'm at the Mem on a Saturday afternoon. Here's how it went.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Oh, shit myself. Come on! Oh, shit. You're shit. That's crap. Shite. Come on, Rovers. They're holding hands. Go on. Oh. Go marching in. Oh, when the gas go marching in. Go on, he's shit. Oh. Go on. Oh, off. Eh? Liner! Oh! Aye. Oh my God! Absolute ass. Go on! One more! Go on! Go on! Oh! Referee! He's got a hold of him! What the f*** are you doing? Hey! Go on! Ah! Swaz the ball in the goal. Referee! Skid him. Do him. Oh! Go on. Well played. Well played. Oh, what? Absolute bollocks. Oh shit. Oh, you're taking the piss. Why are you shooting? Go on. Ah!
Send him off the way! Shit!
Go on! Go on! Come on! Get in! Come on! Let's go. Come on! Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Referee! Go on! Tackle! Well played! Go on! Come on! Who's ball? Well played! Well played! Now, smash that. Good lad. Shit. Come on, just defend. Oh, this will be a massive win. Yes! Come on, man. Come on.
Following our win over Bradford, I sat down with renowned psychologist and University College London professor Daniel Richardson to try and get a better understanding of what actually happens to football fans when they're watching their team.
Why do people love watching football and going to football matches so much?
Well, only just looking at this, but the bottom line is that there's something sort of raw and beneficial about experiencing things collectively. That does something special to us. And we're trying to unpick scientifically what that special thing is that hopefully you experience when you go and see Bristol Rovers. What league are they in now? What division?
League Two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They used to be a lot better, a lot higher, didn't they?
I think you might be thinking of Bristol City, but
might be.
Yeah, they're the red. Yeah, we've always been rubbish, so it's kind of.
Okay.
Because football's quite an insignificant thing in terms of just life in general. There's a lot more serious things going on. Why do you think people take football so seriously?
The fact that it doesn't matter is why it's so important. The fact that it is so insignificant really in life and the stakes are so small means you can invest in it safely. Like the same way that we watch TV and movies, it's a safer thing to get emotionally invested in because seasons end, the movies end. You can move on and you'll be fine. You don't feel it at the moment, but at some level, I think we realize that these are stakes I can invest in because they don't really matter. It's like gambling with pretend money as opposed to your own money. The other side of it, I think, is that it's a fundamental thing about human psychology and primate psychology, actually, is that we form these groups. Say, okay, we're going to put the green-eyed people over this side, the brown-eyed people over this side. Then you start to get them to interact, to play games together, to have a discussion, to do anything at all. And what you quickly find is because they're in those groups, the people who have green eyes will start to favor the people with green eyes and spread rumors about the people with brown eyes and talk about how they're not as clever as them and talk about how they cheat at this particular thing, or that's typical brown eye behavior. So that's what football does amazingly well, is key into that need we have to belong to a group, to feel connected to these people. And then the downside is, and not to those people.
How can just going to a football match and supporting a team, how can that change someone's personality traits almost so much when they're in that environment, and why do these changes happen?
One hypothesis is that when you go to a football match, when you're in a crowd of people, what you do is it shifts what we call your emotional regulation. In a collective, what you do is basically you stop regulating yourself and you let the crowd's behavior regulate you. So that's one specific sort of notion about why your personality changes, because you've stopped taking the responsibility to regulate yourself and you've just done it en masse.
If someone was to go about trying to change the way they act at football, what do you think is the best way to go about doing that?
Put yourself in a different context. Go with different people, go with different fans. You'll still have effect, of course, because there's 20,000 people are in the stadium. But if you're right by people who are not as passionate or not as engaged or not as aggressive in the same way, so not singing, not engaging that collective physical stuff will also change the amount that you're taken over by the emotional things as well.
So after speaking with Daniel, I now feel like I have a better understanding of why I act the way I do when I'm watching Rovers. I'm just about to leave university and heading into the real world. And even though I feel like I'm grown up, I know there's still that little boy inside me that goes mental every time his team scores a goal. Up the gas.
The 7th of January 1956. And can you hear the tolling?